Surprise! Today we are going to talk about game design. Those of you guys who are familiar with Stock and TF2 will know that sometimes I mixed up talking a little bit about my beliefs and opinions, and sometimes I talk about game design. For those of you guys who don't know, I work in the game industry, and a lot of my friends are gamers, and as such, they tend to come to me and pass some of their game ideas, and they want to pass it by me and get my opinion, get my thoughts on that kind of stuff. And one of the most common comments that I give them is that what they have is not a game idea, but rather several game ideas bundled up together. Basically, if you cannot tell me your game idea in 5 seconds or less, then you haven't consolidated your idea just yet. You need to go back and work on it and make it a solid singular idea. And why this is important is multifold. The big one, of course, is if you're looking for investors, if you're trying to do a Kickstarter, you're trying to get published, instead of self-publishing, you need to be able to sell and pitch your idea really, really quick. It's what we call the elevator pitch. But back in the day, the elevator pitch was a 30-second pitch. Nowadays, people don't even have 30 seconds. So you need to be able to tell your idea really, really quickly. The second part is when you're trying to sell the game itself. Like even if you are self-published, if you put your game on Steam Workshop or Steam Greenlight and then try to sell it on Steam afterwards, if you guys make it past that far, you still need to be able to sell your idea to the consumer. Because if you think about your self-purchasing, or Steam has this like the viewing thing every day, right? You maybe only get 5 seconds with each person who comes and takes a look at your game. And so you need to be able to get your idea across to them immediately. And if your idea, hooks them in, that's when you can start telling them why this idea is good and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff as well. So consolidate your game idea into a singular idea. Now, that doesn't mean your idea has to be simplified, doesn't mean that it can't be complicated, it doesn't mean that you can't have multiple things within your idea. All those extra stuff are pillars that support your idea. It's kind of like when you're writing an essay. If you talk about the classic 5-paragraph essay format, right? You got your big idea, you got 3 supporting body paragraphs, and then you have your conclusion, right? So in this way, it's very similar. You build your big idea of your game, and then you have your 3 supporting pillars. Your big idea can be anything. Your big idea can be a theme. It could be like, it's time travel, and you go back in time to the ancient Roman era and you go assassinate people while parkouring. Something like that. That's Assassin's Creed, right? It could be, we can stick with time traveling. It could be like, we're gonna do a time traveling mechanic platformer and explore every possible way of doing time travel in a 2D platformer. That's Braid, right? You can throw all these things into a quick idea, and that's really, really important. Not only because you want to be able to pitch your idea and sell your idea, but it also helps you focus your idea. It helps you focus on what's important in game design. A lot of times in game design, we get what's called scope creep. Scope creep is when you have a project and you start adding more features and more ideas to this project. It's very easy to go, oh, and let's do this. Oh, and let's do this. By having one big idea and then having your 3 pillars supporting it, you can help focus your attention on what's important. You can have a really cool idea, and then you have an additional idea next to it. You're like, okay, well, this additional idea doesn't really fall under the category of my big idea, so let's put it off to the side for now, and if we have time, we'll come back to it later. And you'll find that generally you don't have time, but it's nice to be able to look at something and immediately go, it's cool, but it's not what I want to focus on just yet. And to be able to control yourself, it means that you'll be able to focus and polish what's important to your game. By doing so, you create, you finish your project and you have a good solid project that does what you wanted to do, as opposed to having a giant mishmash, a bunch of stuff. So if you guys have a great game idea of a game that you want to make or you want somebody to make, do this exercise and try to consolidate everything into a single statement, a 5-second blurb that you can just throw out to somebody. You can still have your pillars, you can still have your supporting stuff that builds up on this thing, but what I want you guys to be able to do is focus everything into that perfect quick statement. Anyways, that is all I want to talk about today, guys. If you are interested in building your own game, let me know. If you guys like hearing me talk a little bit more about game design instead of just my opinions, let me know in the comments below. I love getting comments, as I said before. So yeah, talk to me, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye now.